Hello, hello. You're tuned into episode 109 of the Steam Deck podcast, Flip Screen Games, a weekly podcast all about Valve's portable PC powerhouse, the Steam Deck. I'm your host, Stephen Radford, joined, as always, by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Max Wright.
Ahoy, ahoy, full scream ahead, Steve.
Oh, that is a tasty little segue into today's episode. If you didn't listen to this week's Flip Screen Games podcast, we spoke a little bit about some of our favorite Halloween games, and that might be horror, might not be, so it's well worth a listen to. But today we're going to be talking about games we're playing in the back half. But first, before that, obviously, it is Halloween, at least as the time of recording. It will be November 1st by the time this goes out, I would imagine.
Yes.
And the Scream Fest is well underway. It's on until November 4th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Max and I had a quick look through. There's a bunch of games in here, some of which don't make sense to me. Like, why is Spider-Man in there? Is that particularly scary?
I'm not often scared by Spider-Man, to be honest. But
maybe people are scared of spiders. So
do you know what? You might have actually nailed that. It does seem like a very, very, very tenuous link.
Seems like people are scared of spiders and people are scared of men, and I don't blame them for both things, to be honest.
I am also scared of men. I think it could also be that Sony are a bit shook up from Concord, and they're like, let's just get all of our games in as many sales as we possibly can.
Shouldn't they playing that in PlayStation headquarters? They just got Elvis, we're all shook up on the go.
they're terrified. They're spooks.
What's got you spooked, Max, in this list? Like, what's some of your favorite games?
I don't know about spooked, but I think there actually are some cracking deals here. The Dead Space remake from 2023, I want to say that came out in 2023.
It was last year, yeah.
It's currently 70% off at £14. This is a game I bought at launch and couldn't play for.
Oh, you bought it? Because we were literally talking about this on the Flip Screen Games podcast about how you wanted to play this, but you were going to wait until October.
Yes, so I bought this game at launch. Like I've had this game since it came out because I thought I was getting what I thought was a good deal. But at the time there was an issue with, and I think this is mostly my fault, but also my computer wasn't up to snuff. Where it was having dips and stuff. So I was like, yeah, I'll get to it later, and then just never did. And every time I keep meaning to go and play it, I keep thinking, oh yeah, I'll play it in October. I haven't had it timed this October, so I'm saying it for next October. So currently, because it's £15 or 70% off now, I've paid £20 to have it sat in my EA Games library, which I'd rather have it in my Steam library, because I'd imagine this game can play on the deck. Who knows? But that's a really good deal. I think £15 for a really good high quality horror game.
You're going to double dip?
No. I think the only time I'm going to play that is going to be at home in like a spooky setting, and in that point, why would I not just have it running on my PC streamed to my Steam Deck?
See, for starters, it is Steam Deck verified. It will run on your deck. It's also included with EA Play, so you could just pay the $5.99 and play it that way if you wanted to.
Could have done that. There's lots of options I could have done.
Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of liked playing all the Resident Evil games handheld. I put my headphones on. I was properly immersed, especially on the OLED display. It looked really good.
That's what you want in a good horror game. Is what you don't want to do is when it's all like dark and spooky and the lights are out. What you don't need is just grey backlight, like really taking you out of that. So yeah, really nice to get that contrast.
Yeah, like it really is like just next level the OLED screens. I feel like we've been spoiled a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, it's to the point now where like sometimes I'll stream a game specifically to the Steam Deck just because it's like No Rest for the Wicked, for example, has some incredible color work, some incredible light and shadows at work. But on my LCD screen here, I wasn't getting the full effect, so I would stream it. Even though I was quite sat here, I was actually using my OLED screen as like a monitor, basically, to look at it. I really should just at some point invest in an OLED screen.
You really should, yeah.
I don't have £700 to spend right now, Steve.
Is that much the monitors are, Matt?
An OLED, a good like Quantum Dot, like QD OLED Alienware one, which is like the best of the best.
Can you not just the only one TV? Do you have like an OLED TV?
I don't have an OLED TV either because I don't have £1,000 right now, Steve, to buy a TV. So
I thought you did. I thought you sold some shoes or something, and you like.
Yeah, but that's to pay for my root canal. I've got I've got a tooth I need to fix before I start thinking about my eyes, mate.
Fucking hell, fair enough.
What's your first game? What game have you?
Well, there's a lot of
No.
Resident Evil deals on the list.
There is.
So I know you found one, and like you can get it for a crazy deal because every game you seemingly already own, and there's only one game you didn't own in the Resident
it's the only
Evil
game I don't give a shit about. So that's
the one that
fine.
looks like a giraffe logo.
That's the one, the giraffe. What is it? It's a giraffe. Isn't it giraffe being sucked off? Is that what it looks like?
I was just going with the giraffe, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is.
Remember the 2012 Olympics logo when someone coloured it?
Yeah, it was like Lisa and Bart or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lisa sucking off Bart. Yeah, there's a lot of sucking off going on around that time, wasn't there? What year was Resident Evil 6? 2012. That's bizarre that there were two sucking off logos in the same year. That is bizarre.
I bet it was found by the same person, and that person's just deranged and just really likes fellatio. It's just always in the brain.
I'm looking at the Resident Evil 6 logo. That's so funny. He's even got like his hand on the. Do you know what?
You would change the logo. I really think you would change it.
Yeah, as soon as it's pointed out, you'd probably go, well,
not so great. Yeah. But those are always a good deal. I think for me, RE2 Remake is still the best Resident Evil game. Resident Evil 3 was okay.
I'm a big Village guy, so
Village is good.
That plays really well on the Steam Deck as well. Resident Evil 2 is probably my second favorite after Village. 3 is short. I think I did 3 in across 2 sessions really.
Yeah,
I wasn't that hot on it. But I really enjoyed playing 7 on the Steam Deck again, and all the DLC for 7 was really good as well. And for them all to be as cheap as they are, and for how well they play on the deck, I think that was the first game for me that Resident Evil Village that had that like I can swap seamlessly between the two and not feel like I'm having a degradation in quality playing in handheld. I felt like I was getting the exact same experience, just scaled down. Really impressed with that. So
yeah, the RE engine works really, really well on lower end devices.
It did. I don't know what they've done recently, but both Dragon's Dogma 2 is on the RE engine, forked, doesn't even work on PCs and consoles, let alone on the Steam Deck. And then Monster Hunter Wilds, the beta of that comes out 3 a.m. as of the day you're listening to this. I'm not even going to bother trying that on Steam Deck because it's never going to run. Whereas, I've always been like, that RE engine's great in it. It's so scalable. Monster Hunter Rise works really well on the Switch and really good on the Steam Deck. I'm really excited for what's next. No, they've balked it. I don't know what they've done. They're getting too ambitious.
That's a shame. Yeah, it's never nice to see, and it's one of kind of the last men standing up against Unreal Engine at this point. So I kind of want to see RE engines succeed.
Yeah. I want them to do more of this stuff. I just think they also just need to work on. Dragon's Dogma 2 didn't need to run the way that it did on any system, really.
They just delayed that game, do you think?
No, I don't. Well, maybe, yeah, but I also think they should have, focused on not having, because the stuff they were doing that made the game run so poorly. They said, all of our NPCs were thinking too much. They all had their schedules to follow, and all that logic was still around. Like even if you were outside of the city, but as soon as you entered the city, every NPC was actively working and thinking. But they were doing that stuff back in Skyrim. Majora's Mask, that everyone had a day-night cycle or whatever.
Well, I don't know that they were really thinking in Skyrim. They were saying the same line over and over again.
Yeah, but I mean that's what they do in Dragon's Dogma. I genuinely don't think Dragon's Dogma was worth like the sacrifices they had to make for Dragon's Dogma. Whatever the NPCs were doing, whatever was happening, it just wasn't worth it. It was not. Yeah, I wasn't like blown away by anything of that technology. It did look good. So what's more important?
Another thing that I wanted to call out, Vampire Survivors. It's on sale just in time, Max, for the DLC we spoke about.
Yeah, I bought that as soon as it became available. It cost
How
me
is DLC.
It? Oh, I haven't touched it. I just bought it. I've been far too busy for playing games today, Steve. I had to re-stretch out a shrunk woolen jumper and condition and polish my leather boots. So I had a busy day alongside work. So I'll play it tonight. When I finish recording, I'm going to sit down, get cozy, log on to Vampire Survivors, and pick Alucard and start hearing all that great music. Picking up
maybe remind people what the DLC is.
Oh yeah, sorry, it's the Ode to Castlevania DLC. 20 new characters, 40 new weapons, a new level, new remixed tracks, all this cool, wicked stuff from all the Castlevania games, all the deep cuts. Really can't wait to sort of get really into this and enjoy some Castlevania. I wish I did play it so we could have talked about it today. That would have been a really good idea. But
Would have been.
yeah, my boots
just
are
so
really ashy.
unprepared.
So yeah, busy man. Let me tell you about my woolen jumper again, Steve. I could.
I'd be devastated. I gotta say, because we are firmly with Halloween in woolly jumper season.
Yeah.
And it's probably my favorite time of year.
I agree. I love to layer up. I'm a layered up boy.
Yeah, you're like an ogre. You've got layers.
I am like an ogre or an onion. I've got shirts. I've got jumpers. I've got I'm famous for it. But I bought this jumper once. Didn't realize it was 100% wool. Washed it normally. Went to put it on. I'm wearing it to a funeral on Tuesday, and it doesn't fit. So I need to get that fitting.
Find someone larger than you and get them to wear it for a little bit.
Stretch out. Oh mate, it's currently just like it's pinned up somewhere. There's a whole process. That's happening. But anyway, that's not a spooky game. Speaking of DLC that came out today, Blasphemous 2 released its first major free update, which included I think it's a new boss in a new area, some sort of post-game DLC. That game is also 50% off right now in the sale for £12.50. So if you were waiting for Blasphemous 2 to maybe have a more complete edition, or you were waiting for it to go on a good sale, £12.50 is good. It was sort of a game I really enjoyed last year. Fantastic pixel art, and I think that DLC is going to be well worth playing. Another one for me to play as well. I don't have the time for all of this, but that's another pick that I think you guys should have a look at if you haven't already.
Yeah, there's a couple of my favorites as well on here. The Quarry at 96% off. It's down at like £5 now. Which I don't know how well that's going to play on the Steam Deck, because I kind of feel like The Quarry is one of those games you want to play with other people.
Yeah,
it's
big
nice.
Screen.
Yeah, it's nice to watch it. I mean, you probably could dock it and get a decent enough experience, but I feel like that game and the Dark Pictures Anthology, they're all kind of worth picking up while they're on sale. That they're a good time. It's a way to. It's like renting a movie for a night. Except you get to pick the ending and you get to decide who lives and who dies. And if I play with my dad, it's always my character that dies because he never manages to save him in time. So if you're ever playing with my dad, beware.
I'll keep that in mind. How can it be? I'm so right. I know we've talked about this off mic, but you've said it again. I've done the maths in my head. If it's £5, it's 96% off. It's over £100. That doesn't make any sense to me. How is that? What have I missed here?
I don't think that's it, Max. Because
but you've just said £5, 96% off.
So what's 4% of like 60 quid?
Well, 1% of 60 quid is £6. That's £12.
Okay, my brain can't figure it out either, but that's what the Steam website said. So
that's what I'm confused about. Anyway, from what I'm looking at right now, and it seems to be £8.24 at 85% off. So I don't know what the fuck has happened. I almost did. I was like, oh, I shouldn't swear, and I did. So whatever. But yes, it's I don't know. It's cheap, but it just doesn't make any sense that it's 95% off and £5.
It's a real quandary.
I'm quandered right now. I'm going to be honest with you. This is one of those episodes where like it feels like we get 2 seconds into about a game, and then I have a thought, and then we go off.
We trail up, and I like those episodes.
I like those
episodes. Very much apologies if you are missing Pete this week. Keeping us on track, because me and Max have a tendency just to go off with the fairies. Oh, yeah. I would say,
and I'm not going to apologize again, actually, because it's good content. What can I say?
Yeah, exactly. Another one of my favorites on the list I spoke about again on the Flip Screen Games podcast this week. So you really should check that episode out, by the way. If you're not listening to the Flip Screen Games podcast, you're missing out on some absolute fire conversation.
A lot of this. There's a lot of this going on.
There was a lot of this. You're all this. And Fears to Fathom. It's between 10 and 50% off. So the Lookout one that I spoke about is 50% off. The newest one is 10% off. They're well worth picking up. I give them a try. The first episode is free, so you can try it, see what it's all about. That one takes place. You're like babysitting in a house or something, or you're home alone in a house, and some creepy stuff happens, and someone comes like knocking on your door and things like that.
What's
and you eat
that
a whole
price at?
lasagna. So like
Oh,
that's well worth
what
playing
a day! What is 50% off? What is that in pounds?
it.
I don't know what it costs at full price to know to know what
Well, I mean, they're
50% off
really
means.
cheap. So like, it's
I'm gonna guess it's
not a
£2
lot.
something. Is it £2 something?
No, they're £3. So they're £6 usually normal price.
Bargain.
No, they're
Possibly
£3
the
each.
cheapest game so far of the event we've spoken
Yeah,
about.
so there's Home Alone, Carson House, Norwood Hitchhike, Ironbark Lookout, and Woodbury Getaway. I've played all of them apart from Woodbury Getaway, which I think came out today.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, look at this. What a day for releases as well. We're really having a day, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean they're great for like a little Halloween episode.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, you can sit down there. You don't have to get upset when you have to pause it
Oh
because
my god, the new one's got a fishing mini game, so I'm 100% in on that.
banging.
Yeah, I
Is it a
love this.
JRPG? I didn't realise that.
Does every JRPG have a fishing
Well, I think everyone
video?
I've played does, that's for sure.
Oh, okay.
Next game for me, Alien Isolation is currently 75% off at under
Oh, I
£9.
had that on my list. I
Oh
watched.
no! Well, I had Resident Evil 4, so this is going to be a shorter list than we thought. Yeah, that's a cracker of a game that I think runs really well on the Steam Deck because as
It
far as I
runs really
know,
well on the Switch,
yeah,
so
it
it
runs really well on the
definitely
Switch,
runs
so it
really
runs on the
well on the
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck.
So
I've never played this one, but I watched one of my exes play this, and he had a really good time with it. And
yeah,
it did look spooky.
yes, yeah, it is. I mean, like classic, iconic, horror monster, the xenomorph, great sci-fi setting. Like it benefits from having a lot of the lore built in for you, and a lot of the design and stuff already built in, so you can feel like you're immersed in it. But yeah, for under £9 for that game, that's great. And they're working on a sequel now, aren't they? So if you want to,
Getting
play
at the
this,
ground floor.
yeah, you want to get into the ground floor, you want to play it. I certainly want to actually finish this because I haven't finished it.
When are you finishing that? Is it going to be October
I think next
2026?
October is going to be massive for me, mate. Next
Okay.
October is going to be huge. I'm going to block out a whole bunch of time. Right, deal with me right now. Next October, you and we just play as many of these horror games we've meaning to play in a row, and we just do every we have a big at the end of October Halloween Flip Screen Games Fest of here's all the horror games we played this month. Here's how we rate them. How you up for that?
You know what, Max? Why don't you come over and we play some of them?
That sounds good. I'd love to play Man of Medan or whatever these ones are called. The Quarry.
Yeah, like the Dark Pictures anthology.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. I'll do that.
Okay, it's a deal. I'm looking forward to it.
In the meantime, what's your next pick?
I have got Dredge on here. This was one of my favorite games last year. It's had a ton of DLC since. It's spooky. It's great. There's a lot of stuff going on. At first glance, it's just a really great fishing game with inventory management. And then you kind of uncover more. And then there's a lot more to the game. It's a really great game. If you've not played it, I highly recommend picking it up.
I was going back to I can't remember the name of the listener, but they won't get to this for a year and a half now anyway. They're going back through the episodes of the Steam Deck podcast, and I think I found my first episode or something like that, or it was one of my earliest episodes. And the whole back half of it is me talking about Dredge, and I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember being unwell, and I had plans. I cancelled all the plans, and I just sat and I just played Dredge the entire weekend, and how spooky it was, and really.
How good is it when sometimes plans just get cancelled?
Right when you got something else you want to do as well. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I mean, I intentionally cancelled this plan just so I could play Dredge and feel sorry for myself. But but yeah, banger of a game. And how much did you say it was? Sorry,
it's 40% off. It's down to £13 in the UK.
I need more numbers than just percentages, though. I need for percentage to mean anything to me. I need the first number anyway. So
okay, it's £13.
Yeah,
40% off.
Lovely.
And you can get usually it's $21.99.
Something like that. Yeah,
you can get it with all of the DLC complete for $37.99.
Oh, wicked! Yeah, I know that Pale Reach is like £2.55 right now as well, by itself. So if you already own Dredge and you haven't gone back for the Pale Reach, like me, maybe now's the time to do that.
Yeah, Dave the Diver's also in a bundle with this. So if you've not picked that one up, you can get Dave the Diver and Dredge at 30% off. That makes it £27 for the two games. So you kind of get a 2-for-1 on it, which is pretty good. Perfect. Dave the Diver is decent. I think Dredge is the better of the two games, and Dredge is the indie one.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you'll find that that Dave the Diver was voted for best indie game. So whatever.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't made by an indie studio,
No, it
but
was
yeah,
not.
it was.
No, it was not. You're right. My last game for this, I'm glad we dragged this out to 20 minutes. My last game for this is Outlast, which is a game I haven't played, a game I've owned before on Switch. A game I'm only bringing up because it's under £7 right now. And yesterday we were going to bring this up during recording the Steam Deck Flipscreen Games podcast, and I forgot. But Lionsgate are announced they are doing an Outlast movie. And I think, horror games are probably quite easy to turn into movies, right?
You'd think so, but Five Nights at Freddy's.
Was it good or bad?
Not good.
Oh, okay. I thought that was good for some reason.
I wasn't terrible.
The more I think about it, Resident Evil's bad. The movies, Silent Hill movies aren't great.
I love the Resident Evil movie.
Do you?
I really do. I love that first one.
Really? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think it's funny.
Okay, okay. I agree that
I think Scream is funny, and my boyfriend looked at me as if I was some kind of psycho at the beginning of that. Where
good judge of character, yes. The falling. There's a bit in one of the Resident Evil movies where Milla Jovovich is falling from a helicopter. Zombies coming up at her somehow, and she is dual firing pistols down at them.
Yeah, like Lara Croft.
Yeah, but what I don't understand is she's plummeting from a helicopter down towards these. What's her plan? What is the plan there?
The chopper blades to kind of cut them up.
No, because the helicopter's above her. She's falling down onto a pile of zombies that are reaching up her, firing guns at them on the floor. What's her plan?
You know what, Max? I don't know, but I think I'm going to watch those films tonight.
I shouldn't have inspired you. I'm such an awful person.
After we're done here, I'm going to be having a workout, and then after that, I'm sitting down to watch Resident Evil. The Resident Evil TV show wasn't too great either.
No, I remember there was a bit of contention because IGN gave it a really high score, and then everyone watched it, and they were like, "Where?
Yeah, it was all about a high score. It was strange. Lance Reddick was good though. He's always
good. He's always good in everything. Yeah, it seems like there's a interesting team behind this film. It's got producer Roy Lee, who produced It, Barbarian, Lighten Up with the Devil, and Strange Darling, 4 fantastic horror movies. I could say Late Night with the Devil's weird, but the other 3 are fantastic. I couldn't tell you who the writer is. The Burrowers and Hellbenders movies I haven't actually seen or heard of. But yeah, this could be an interesting pick for a spooky movie based on a spooky game, and you can play the game now for under £7 if you so fancy. And that ends what was it? The 4th of
November. Get
That's
it in
Monday, right?
Day before you Americans need to go and vote. So remember that.
Yeah.
It's also the day that we're going to light things on fire in the UK. It's a great day all around. America gets to vote, and we get to self explosives. So just remember the 5th of November minus 1 day, and that's how long you've got to buy these games.
Gunpowder, treason, and
I've got 3 more on my list: The Last of Us, Lethal Company, and one I wanted to call out was The Outer Wilds. I've never played it. I always get it confused with The Outer Worlds, but I've heard that The Outer Wilds is phenomenal from you, Max.
Yes, that is a good one. I wouldn't call it spooky necessarily, but it has got a fantastic atmosphere, and it's when I was doing some research after I beat it, and someone had used the term Metroidvania to describe it, where instead of finding an item that lets you explore further, you work out a piece of information through playing the game, and then you go, oh, I can apply that information elsewhere, and you do, and it works, and you feel really clever. Don't look anything up about it if you do play it. Just give it a go. It took me like 5 attempts and 3 different consoles to actually finally play it, but the Steam Deck was the one for me. So
nice.
Yeah, really enjoyed that.
And I think while we're talking about deals, also worth noting that places like Humble having their own deals. They've got
Halloween. Scrolling through that now.
They have a Halloween festival going on over there with games that aren't included in the Steam sale, like Red Dead Redemption 2, for example. That's 67% off over there. The Outlast Trials, and then some other games, like that are well worth looking at. Some that you can play on Steam Deck, some that you can't, like Destiny. But if there's stuff that you're looking to find, now might be the time to shop around, because it's on Humble, you're going to get a Steam key for it anyway.
Yes, and if you're not a Steam Deck owner, but you're a PC owner, I know this is against the rules, Steve. I'm sorry, but if you haven't played Alan Wake 2 yet, it's on the Epic Game Store for £20 right now for Halloween, and that is a fantastic deal for that game. You just don't even dream about playing it on the Steam Deck unless you can stream it. But that is a corker for £20. Like, what a huge bargain there. So,
yeah, 100%. It's still on my list of games to play, but I would be playing that on console because I don't have a PC. Before we get on to what we're playing, which by the way is Windblown and Crypt Custodian, so you're not going to want to miss our thoughts on those.
absolutely.
I need to thank the Patreon producers for the month of July. They are not July, October. I'm reading a very old document. Arnold J. Rimmer, Christopher Valens, Steve Stumpy, Susan Likes Cats and Also Boobies, Ty the Dude, Voodoo Vic, and Wakahula. Thank you all so much for your support over at patreon.com/flipscreengames. If you want to help join them, you can head on over to patreon.com/flipscreengames, or you can come check us out on Discord or everywhere else we are on the web, including YouTube, our sister podcast, the Flip Screen Games podcast, and Nintendo Noise. And you can find links for all of that on our website, flipscreen.games. So, Max, where do you want to start? Windblown or?
I'll tell you where I want to start with a plot twist, because I completely forgot to mention the Dark Pictures and Little Nightmares Horror Collection Humble Bundle that's on at the moment. Completely forgot about that. I'm so sorry. So there's currently a bundle on humblebundle.com. I know you mentioned Humble. That didn't jog my memory somehow. It includes Dark Pictures Anthology, The Devil in Me, Dark Pictures Anthology, House of Ashes, Little Hope, A Man of Medan, and also Little Nightmares 2, and the Little Nightmares Secret of the More expansion pass. So that is 7 games there, or 6 games and a DLC for £15. And they're all listed on Humble Bundle, which I think is a nice touch, actually. That there's deck verified. But if it's not deck verified, it's got ProtonDB Platinum deck support or ProtonDB Gold deck support. So even if it's not specifically verified, they are using the ProtonDB sort of rating to sort of suggest whether that's okay for the Steam Deck, which I think is great, and I think it's good that Humble is doing that, because there are some great bargains to be had on there. So yeah, £15 for that. Just wanted to mention that. You talk now, Steve. You talk about your game, because I'm really interested in Windblown. I want to be blown away.
Well, I spoke a little bit about this on the Next Fest episode a couple of weeks ago, and I picked it up when it went live on early access last week, and I just can't stop playing this game. It is phenomenal. It's by the team behind Dead Cells, right?
Yes.
And it's a roguelike with some Soulsy style combat in there, and I just can't stop playing it. I'm through to level 2, and I'm trying to beef myself up a little bit. I've boosted up my health flask, so I get 3 goes on it now before I go and do the final boss. I've been playing it entirely single player, but you can team up. There's a little guy that's in the Ark, the little village that you were kind of living in. And you can go to him and you can find a group, or you can put your own group on there and kind of go out into the wild and go on your adventure and go and basically save people.
Talk me through the combat. Did you say it was Soulsy in its combat, or Soulsy in its talk me through it?
So it's Soulsy in the combat. Each character has each enemy has a tell as to when you need to dash away from it or kind of get out of its way. So you can kind of figure out what you can do. There's no parrying system to really, but each weapon has a different ability. My favorite one is the feather, which allows you to kind of do a jump attack. So I'll hit one enemy when he shows me he's about to kind of run through me or shoot his laser off or whatever. I'll jump over to another enemy. I kind of do them a little bit. You can also get 3 hits in with your primary weapon and then click to go onto your secondary weapon, and then it'll do an enhanced attack. Some weapons have if you press and hold, they do additional things. So there's the katanas, and you can kind of jump behind the enemy you're attacking and stab them in the back, and that then kind of releases blood. There's weapons that will burn. There's all sorts of things that are kind of going on.
That sounds good. It sounds like I know, because Motion Twin Dead Cells, the combat in that game is great. It's fantastic. One of the highlights of that, and they kept adding to it, and it kept sort of becoming more and more impressive. So I'm glad that they seem to have kept that even with, because it's more of an isometric 3D sort of Hades angle like game, right? It's not a side scroller or a top down necessarily. It's an isometric, you know, what my girlfriend calls CCTV games, where you're looking at it from as if you were a little camera up in the corner, right?
That is a phenomenal term
I
for
think
the
so as
game,
well.
but
I was very impressed when she said that.
but yeah, it kind of is at that, and it's like you can't move the camera angle. It is like that isometric style.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks great. If you played the demo, there's like a couple of extra skins that you get. If you buy early access, you'll be able to get some exclusive stuff that carries through when the game reaches 1.0. It runs pretty well on Steam Deck, I would say. There's a couple of slowdown areas. The first area is completely flawless. It's clearly where they've spent most of the time. And then as you get into the factory, which is the second area, you can definitely feel some slowdown in places.
Yeah.
But they're pushing out updates every single week. There was a balancing update. There's been some the promise of like new content and things like that. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Sounds like, because I was interested. They announced it during the Game Awards, and I was like, yeah, that's going to be good. And I wanted to play it during Next Fest, didn't get around to it. Then you said on Discord that it was like your game of the year so far, and I was like, this is tempting, but as I said on the Flip Screen Games, I've got so many early access games that I have either finished all the content of, or I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't want to play anymore because I want to wait until either more content drops or 1.0 drops, so I have more to aim towards. And I'm just, do I want to add another one of those to the list? It sounds like I do. It feels like I do, but I also might wait for 1.0 on this one.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know when they're aiming for 1.0. I don't know what content they're going to continue to add. Presumably, it's going to be new weapons and stuff. From what I've read over on Reddit, you can play the game pretty much end to end, and like you can complete it, and then you unlock additional difficulties, and you can go through and play the game on those. So it might be one that you pick up.
I think it's £15 in early access. Is that right? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. It wasn't expensive, and the demo for me was enough for me to go, you know what, this is the kind of game that I'm into and I want to play. I loved Hades. I didn't pick up Hades 2 because I didn't want to play it in early access. I kind of wanted to wait for 1.0 on that one for the same reason as you.
I think I'm wishing I'd done that now, because I now know when I do want to get back into it, I'm going to have to remember all the various mechanics, but also I hope there's enough new stuff there that I'm going to be able to have enough new stuff to learn, and be able to pick up the stuff I already forgot,
Yeah. Well, I hope you check it out. I don't know if they've still got the demo kicking around.
I might have it installed still, so I might even just be able to just cheekily play it.
Oh yeah, you can get to that through desktop mode instead if you want to.
Yeah, cool. I'll give that a go.
But if you own Dead Cells, you'll get, I think, 19% off, 20%
I do
off
own Dead Cells.
So you can.
In fact, I bought Dead Cells to try and play the Castlevania DLC when I was playing every Castlevania game in the entire world, and then never got as far as the Castlevania DLC. But
so you'll get a bit of a deal on Windblown if you want to.
It's all coming up max here, really, isn't it? Maybe I'll think about it.
If you do, let me know, because I'd love to play this game with
it's co-op, isn't it?
A friend. Yeah.
Oh, it's nice that you said.
And if we can convince Pete to do it, we're going to have an absolute team.
Yeah.
And then we need to figure out who's going to be the tank.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Why not? If you say that like it's something bad, but I'll just do it. Why not? I always end up.
Well, no, it just depends on your play style, really. Like, there's a lot of weapons I like that are ranged attacks rather than like up close melee, and they can be easier. But depending on the enemy you're fighting, some of them you do need to get closer to. Like, you can't really get them with the ranged. So you usually have like one of each. Like you'll have a primary and a secondary weapon, and you get these things called trinkets as well. Like they are like grenades, basically. You can have a bomb, you can have things that they do things. My favorite one I've unlocked is like this orb that just moves towards enemies and just hurts them.
Murder orb. Sounds like a murder orb.
It's great. And then you unlock things on runs, like they're called gifts, which I guess is similar to the boons in Hades. And you kind of get those for that specific run only. Like my favorite one of those is necromancy. So every enemy you kill, you get a little bit of health back. But then you can get permanent upgrades by unlocking memories. So you find a memory on a level, you get this like memory dust, and you can unlock them back at the home base. So there's a lot to it. I think it's an exciting game, and I'm interested to see where it goes and kind of where 1.0 lands. There's no real story at the moment. I can see that's probably where they would be working on the main game.
Well, I mean, if the gameplay is that good enough, then when they do start adding story content, you want to go back and play it, I guess, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You'd hope.
I mean, I don't know what the story was like in Dead Cells. I never played that. So,
I never beat it, but I don't remember there being much in the way of a story. It was more. There were fun characters that would say fun things at you, and you were sort of just you'd always be like, and like you'd have no head. that was the plot of Dead Cells from memory. But maybe sometimes these games don't need things. They don't need something as complex as a story, do they?
No, why would they? But Max, you've been playing Crypt Custodian. Tell me about that.
I have been playing Crypt Custodian. This is a game made by a single person, and I think it's his brother doing the music. I might have made that up, but it's a top-down sort of Metroidvania style game. You play as a cat that has been hit by a car and is dead, which is very sad. And you end up in limbo, and you have to go, either go to heaven or hell. But you end up being tasked to clean up hell, basically, and you find out that there's other spirits in the world whose job it is to clean up hell, and you're exploring this sort of pretty large open world of hell, coming across other spirits, and your job is really to befriend these spirits, solve puzzles for them, get through dungeons, fight bosses, unlock new powers that then let you explore further. So it's sort of like a mix between like a Metroidvania and a sort of top-down Zelda, with some fun abilities and some like tough challenges. Really nice artwork. And I think it only came out a couple of years after this developer's previous game, Islets. So if you played Islets, you might be familiar with the sort of style of game. It's been very nice. It's been way bigger than I thought it was. I really thought this was going to be like a quick one, in and out kind of game. But
no, Carl's knocking them out every 2 years. He's whacking out one of these big games.
He is. It's very impressive. I think like the humor's really good. I think the characters are really lovable. I think the level design's really nice. There's sort of like a fun variety of enemies. Like it's not the same style. Every area has its own unique enemy. There's a chip system or a pin system like in Hollow Knight, where you can you have a certain number of upgrade points, you can apply these things. There are special attacks. The bosses are quite challenging. It's very much like takes you 2 or 3 attempts. Sometimes you're like, no, I'll get it next time, and that's really nice. So yeah, I'm really impressed, and would highly recommend this one. I bought it I can't remember why I bought it. I was just like, I want something small to play. I'd played a couple of big things recently, and wanted something that could play pretty quickly, and this that hasn't been this to be honest, but it has been. I've really enjoyed it. I look forward to finishing it, and I'm probably going to go back and pick up Islets and give that one a go as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think Crypt Custodian came out 2 months ago. I want to say, I guess
it did. It came out on my mum's birthday in August.
Did it?
Yeah,
that's nice. Happy birthday to your mum. When's your dad's birthday?
The day before mine.
Cool. December 26th.
27th.
Oh,
it's the same day as Pete's.
Yeah, I know. I don't know Pete's birthday either, obviously.
Oh.
That is weird that you two share a birthday, isn't it?
We thought that, like, because of the time difference, we kind of want to find out when each of us was born.
Yeah, who's actually?
We might have been born at like the exact same time.
Oh my god! Imagine that.
Be weird, wouldn't it?
Yeah, because I mean, I was born. I've got a twin brother, so I do have someone that's born pretty much around the same time as me.
Who's the older twin?
He is.
Oh.
And then 23 minutes later, I just sauntered out like
23 minutes.
Yeah, I was chilling, man. I was.
Yeah.
See how long it takes me to get to the. How long it takes me to get to the point when I record a podcast. Imagine like how long it's going to take me to get up and leave my home of 9 months. I'm not doing that anytime soon.
I've got another game I remembered that I wanted to talk about.
Sure.
I'd completely forgot, and I'm playing it on Saturday. I've got some friends coming around for a little Halloween party, It's Jackbox Survey Scramble. I don't know if you've seen this.
I have seen. I've seen it in that. Like I've seen that it exists, but I for some reason thought this was all the Jackbox things, and you pick what you want to play. Yada
That's
yada.
the Jackbox Mega Picker.
What the flipping flip is this thing you're talking
So this
about?
is hot on the back of their disastrous Jackbox Naughty Pack, which is their only very negative game that they've ever released. It's
Really?
bad.
How? What did they do?
They basically rehashed a bunch of old games, like Faking It, and just decided to make them, gross, like Dirty Drawful.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like, but we didn't
Drawful is
need
dirty. Drawful. All of these games are already dirty.
Yeah, exactly. So we didn't need the naughty pack with like naughty prompts because like the fun I think of Jackbox is taking something innocent and then using your warped ass brain
Exactly.
to make it filthy with your group of friends.
Which is why that is fun, and why Cards Against Humanity isn't fun, because the cards are already dirty, and it's just, oh, look at this! I put these two dirty cards together. Like, there's no in jokes there. You can't make that up.
Whereas, when you're playing Quiplash, you can make the in jokes,
Yeah,
and it's
you
great.
can.
But Jackbox Survey Scramble, I think, is one of their most interesting packs they've put together. Basically, while you're playing the game, it will ask you questions on your screen while you're just sitting waiting. So whenever you're waiting in the lobby, you can be answering surveys. It's then used these questions from like a ridiculous number of people that have played this game and answered these questions in a bunch of games. Some like fucking Pointless, for example, like the TV show Pointless.
Cool.
There's 4 games in the pack currently, but they are going to be adding more. There's High-Low, where you have to guess like the most popular and least popular within a certain category. So it might be like sandwich ingredients, and the answers are all one word. So it might be like ham or cheese or meat or whatever.
Delicious.
And you've got to guess first of all the top ones, and whoever guesses like closest to number 1 gets more points out of the people playing. And then it says right now guess the bottom 3 ones. Then there is squares, where you kind of team up and you kind of have to get squares across the board. So it's like 1 to 2, 3 to 5, 6 to 10, and so on. And you've got to guess the highest one within that category to lock in and win that square and then get across the board, which is really cool.
Okay.
There's speed, which is fun, except when your phone is like freaking out on you. Where basically you've got to try and answer as many as you can within that category. So again, same, it might be like sandwich ingredients, and you've just got to be as quick as you can to guess as many in that category as possible. Every single time one person gets a correct answer, it adds another 5 seconds onto the clock. So you've got to keep just going and going and going until no one can think of any more sandwich ingredients or answers to the questions. And then the time's up. The one I fucking hated was Bounce, where basically you're playing Breakout by answering questions and figuring out, which sandwich ingredient was most popular. Like is say ham more popular than cheese, and then it like moves the in a certain scale to then like hit a ball. It just didn't work. You couldn't answer the question as well. But the other 3 absolute bangers, and the pack's cheap. It's like $8.99, and I love the fact that you can answer the questions yourself. They're constantly adding to the surveys. There's constantly more questions, and they're going to add some new game modes soon with a free update. So it's
probably because they've got all this data to use now, haven't they?
Exactly. And you can another thing I love about it is you can localize the questions. So you know how when you played Jackbox before and some of the questions might be like super American?
Yeah, there's that one on one of the packs where it's like a quiz. And it's like a really weird quiz the way it does it, the way it sort of like picks a theme and it does like loads of like the theme is Frasier, but actually none of the questions are about Frasier, and yeah, all of those questions would be like, which Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, I don't have a clue, but that is great that you can do that.
Yeah, so you can say I'm in so they've localized it for the US, UK, and Australia currently, but you can play it in multiple different languages. And I think they're going to be localizing the answers to more countries too as they get more data. It's just really nice that, when I'm answering questions, I can answer them in the way a British person would. And I know that they're British answers because some things like pub were on there.
Yeah.
Like no American is saying one of their favorite things to do on a Friday night is go to the pub.
Yeah, absolutely not. Unless they're like proper hipsters.
Yeah, maybe. But I thought it was good. I highly recommend it if you're looking for a puzzle game, for a party game to play this weekend. The Jackbox games are always good, but Survey Scramble, I think is firmly up there with one of my favorite packs now. It's like this one, number 3, number 7. Those are some of my favorite packs.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw, we're talking about Jackbox, they're doing board games now. Like, there's a board game version of Faking It coming out, and I think there's some other, they're transforming some of their other ones into board games.
They work the way in like that, don't they? They do work in the form of board games. It's just that the accessibility of everyone grab your phone, tells you what the rules are.
You haven't got to sit around a table. You can be casual, just in a room. There
doesn't have to be a person whose job it is to know the rules and feel like they either are going to win all the time because they know the rules, or feel like they can't play properly because they have to explain the rules.
That's me every time I play Carcassonne, and I'm not allowed to play with the fields, and it drives me mental.
Yeah, that sounds good. I would like to I'd like to get back into Jackbox. I just don't really do the sort of Wednesday night boozy, evenings that I used to when I was a bit less responsible. Maybe didn't have to drive to work in the morning.
I'd recommend not doing it on a Wednesday. I'd recommend doing it maybe on a Friday or a Saturday.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah. Usually a good idea. But I think it's well worth checking out. So the 3 games we love: Windblown, Crypt Custodian, Jackbox, Survey Scramble. Go check them out. Speaking of checking things out, check out our website, flipscreen.games. That's where you can find everywhere we are on the web, including our Patreon, our Discord, our sister shows, the Flipscreen Games podcast and Nintendo Noise, and our Discord. You can come yap with me and Max and let us know what games you're picking up in the Scream Fest, or if there's any cool games that we've missed that you're playing and you want us to check out, and we will maybe check them out. But yeah, that's it for this week's show. Pete will be back next week, so we'll be more on track, less handbrakes, less derailing.
We'll be talking about the thing you want us to talk about. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It'd be a marvel, wouldn't
it? Joke's on you guys, because I'm never gonna do it. I'm never gonna beat the allegations of just being impossible to work with.
Anyway, see you next week.
Goodbye.